Well, honey, half of my life is based on
Right.
I had at least every other night, 3 times a day.
Right. That's how.
Okay?
Greetings and salutations. Today we're going to be reviewing a new Dig Agency agent sales call, and we're going to take it from beginning to end and then give you details as to what this agent did right and what they can prove to get better. So let's take it away.
Hello?
Hi, this is today with the DIG agency, calling you back with the final expense price quote you requested on Facebook. I see your zip code is. Is that correct?
Now let's talk about what was done correctly and amazingly, in fact, in this opening script, because no matter if you're selling final expense, life insurance, or anything, there's some fundamental, really important things that you need to implement whenever you do an initial sales call reaching out to a prospect. This is an outbound call, so we're calling on some kind of internet lead, and there's right things to do and wrong things to do. So let's talk about what was right. So first of all, the agent did not say, hey, how's your day going? Don't ask that anymore. Nobody really believes that you care. And what happens is by asking a question like that, you're giving control to the prospect to start grilling you on what is this about, or I'm not interested, or give me the price quote, and they start to take control. When you ask questions, you got to do it with the idea in mind of what you're trying to accomplish, meaning you're trying to progress the call from the opening to the midsection. You see, the opening is where most of the objections are going to occur in a sales presentation. So what you ideally want to do is walk around where the objections may be by going through a script that's very important. So how do you do this? First of all, let's listen to this again, and I'm going to do a little bit more analysis.
Hello?
Hi, this is.
So notice she says, hey, this is, and so on and so forth. There's no pause like, hey, is this? So there are some scripts out there that do that, but what we have found is when we do that, we put people on the defensive, or people will lie and say, no, it's not, even though it is. So just assume you're talking to the person you intend to talk to that's on the lead. They'll tell you if it isn't them, and then go into the rest of the script.
The DIG agency, calling you back with the final expense price quote you requested on Facebook.
So we like to remind them they requested the final expense price quote. Our leads talk about final expense quotes. They talk about life insurance. So when we use this kind of language, it reflects what the lead is about. Now, you may have to adjust this if you're using a different script. Maybe you're talking about a state-regulated program. You're going to have to say, hey, I'm calling about the state-regulated program quote or whatever. You got to match the language in the script, and this is the point, to what is actually said in the lead in order to help that person recall actually requesting that information.
I see your zip code is. Is that correct?
The reason we ask for the zip code is because it is a very simple way to get a yes answer. What we don't want to ask is some sort of complicated, open-ended question, honestly like what we used to in our script, because it kind of gets the prospect at this point to clam up, not really engage, and it's difficult for a person to transition from whatever they were doing to being engaged in a call. So easy questions that get us easy answers is the way to claw ourselves out of the open and then get into the thick of it, into the midsection, which we're about to get into. So let's see how the client reacts and go from there.
Yes.
Okay, and were you looking for yourself or a loved one?
Myself?
Okay. Did you already have a policy?
Nope.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so the reason we ask these questions, this is a continuation of the easy questions to get into it. Is this for yourself or a loved one? Part of the reason we ask that is to get an idea if the person who needs to be interviewed and go through the application process is or isn't there. So that's why we ask that question. And then the other one is, do you have an existing policy or not? That actually dictates to how we progress through the presentation. In short, if they answer yes to having an existing policy, we take some level of presumptions in what they know and what they're interested in order to shorten and get more to the point with the actual presentation. Whereas if they don't have a policy, we'll spend a little bit more time slowing down, educating the client on what it is that we do and how it differs. One of the takeaways here I'm reminded to tell you guys about is that it's imperative on any kind of telesales call, certainly for life insurance, final expense, probably for all calls these days, to get to the point. Your prospects don't want to waste time. They don't want to go into some long 30, 40, 50-minute conversation. I've seen these scripts. They're terrible. They worked 5, 10 plus years ago, but they're way less effective than a short to the point script. In fact, as you'll see, we get to the presentation and the close within 10 minutes to 15 minutes sometimes. So the point is you want to get to the point, get through things, and drive towards getting that final expense quote to the client. As you'll see, we'll hit on that several times, so we'll come back to that in a minute.
No problem here. So I can go ahead and get the price quote for you here, Rex.
So I'm going to get you that price quote you requested. Again, the idea behind that is that is kind of like a good trigger word. It's what they asked for, and we're telling them we're going to get it. And every time we use it, you don't want to abuse it, but every time we use it, the client perks up a little bit, listens in, and allows us to facilitate progressing the conversation a little bit further. So you'll see that use, so pay special attention at different points in the call where we really want the client to listen in, lean in, and be engaged.
Are you familiar with the funeral plans that negotiate for your family to get the cost of the funeral down up to 40%?
No, I don't.
Okay, I got you. So some of our whole life options actually include a free funeral concierge plan that does just that. So a lot of people find a lot of value in it. I could tell you here about it in just a second.
So that we use a funeral concierge, I guess you could say sizzle to the steak. The concept with it is that when you buy a plan with a certain provider that we have, we'll give you this concierge program that helps negotiate the cost and possibly reduce the total expense to the family. At this point in the conversation, we say this knowing they're going to say no in order to entice them and to get us to listen. So it's like, hey, it's great. It does this. We'll tell you a little bit more later. So it's kind of like even in videos, you know, where they say, hey, you listen to the end of this video. We're going to tell you something you've never heard of before, right? That's what a lot of YouTube content creators do. Well, that's kind of our version of this in the sales presentation, is giving them a little something but taking it away and telling them they got to wait till the end in order to listen to it. So it's a way to hook them into listening a little bit longer with something that's different than probably what they've heard with other agents they've talked to.
So let's go ahead and get you the price quote real quick, Rex.
We're going to get you that. So let's get you that price quote real quick. Again, hitting that trigger word again.
It's based on your age and your health. So what's your date of birth so I can verify your age?
60, October 8th, 1964.
So now we're getting into the health questions because this is where we actually spend time building rapport. Now, if you're familiar with sales, one of the things that's true, it's tried and true, is that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you have to purposely engineer the ability for clients to feel a likeness, trustworthiness, and a knowledge of you in the presentation. So it's actually in the health questions where we start to build this rapport, this idea that we have a level of expertise with the type of health conditions that are out there. And then last but not least, developing trust, because we know about the conditions, we know about the prescriptions they take. And what you find with at least final expense prospects is they'll tell you a lot about their health history, what's happened to them, good and bad and ugly. And this kind of is a way to connect with them because you're very understanding and you're listening, asking questions, and they get comfortable really dealing with you in this process. And it's amazing because the old way to sell, and a lot of agencies still do this, they try to build rapport in that front end, first 30 seconds. It's impossible to do because there's a resistance up. They know there's a sales presentation coming. They don't want to be dragged out, and they get the feeling that they're going to, the prospects do, when you start this traditional approach to building rapport. Not that it doesn't work. It does work. But we feel that this process works much better.
Okay, Rex, so it's also based on your health as well. Do you have any mild or major health concerns of any kind?
No, I fell 30 feet,
Oh, wow.
landed on my back. My spine,
Wow.
messed up.
It's okay. You can be yourself here with me.
All right. So again, here's a perfect example. We got a prospect that is really, how do you say, being honest, and they're using colloquial language, right? And the agent is not getting all bent out of shape. She's relaxed about it, being very receptive. And this is a good icebreaker, right? He's just being straight up, and she's being receptive to it. So this is good. This is the kind of stuff that we want to hear that relaxes that client and gets them into the process.
Okay, so Rex, some carriers, they take certain payment methods and others do not. So do you have a valid U.S. bank account?
Yes.
So the reason we ask that is that we want to make sure that the carrier we select actually takes their form of payment. Typically, if they don't have a bank account, they'll say, oh, no, I got that Direct Express or Chime card or whatever. And then you got to pivot to another carrier that actually accepts it. So instead of pitching the greatest thing ever, finding out that they can't even take the payment, this prevents that problem from happening in the first place.
Okay. And the reason I ask that is just because I don't want to give you a quote from a company that doesn't have your payment method. Some people actually don't have bank accounts.
Right.
So that's why we ask.
And so that's good that this agent added that in, because some people can get a little creeped out. Like, you ask them about my bank account and I don't even know you, right? But if you explain the reason why, and this is kind of a good rule of thumb, hey, the reason I'm asking this is because blah, 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 it helps relieve some of that tension. So they at least can kind of say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I've heard of people having this Direct Express card and not a bank account. So that way it helps temper that kind of fear that they might have.
Okay. I know you shared a lot of your health history with me already. I'm just going to go over some health questions that you quite didn't answer, so I'm making sure I'm giving you the right company quote.
I don't have any diseases. My lungs, no CBD, no kidney, no diet.
He might be taking CBD, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, pro tip, guys. You hear that background? Tell your clients to turn or mute the TV when you're talking to them. Just let them know, hey, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you mute that TV? Like, how are they going to object to that? Like, no, I want to listen to Matlock while I try to talk to you and listen at the same time. No. They'll turn it off or just mute it just as a courtesy. We used to do this all the time in person. It's very distracting to you, the salesperson. It can be to some of you. Not all, but some of you. And it helps them dial in and focus on you as well.
So everyone I work with, they're usually on a fixed income. So the goal is to find something that you can qualify for and also afford. They have different programs sorted into different price ranges. So I just need you to tell me what price range as far as monthly premium should I be shopping for you.
Yeah, so this is the budget question. So at the Dig Agency, what we teach our agents is not to sell face amount, but to sell a budget. Why? Because our clients are on a fixed budget and they need something that's reasonably affordable, right? So all of this is to the script you just listened to. The idea behind it is to let the client know that it's important to get something they can be comfortable with, and then have them suggest to us what that range is that they're comfortable with. So let's see how they answer.
Around $20 a month.
All right, $20 a month. So it doesn't mean that they'll pay that, but it means that that's kind of the first thing out of their mouth. So kind of jumping ahead, you can pitch the 20, but then also show a 30 and a 40 or a 20, 40, 60. You can show higher, but at least you got the number that the client can afford, and at least pin them to that if they start to give you pushback. Hey, you said this is affordable. So why don't we just get this started, right? So you've overcome, in short, the budget objection a lot of agents in this business deal with if they don't cover it like this. That's why I like getting, or we call it selling the premium. It's very good at overcoming this kind of resistance.
$20 a month?
Yep.
Okay. So we want to see what we can get the highest value for $20 a month.
Please.
I got you. All righty. So, Rex, I want to make sure we're choosing the right product for you. Do you know the difference between term and whole life?
One you can take money against, the other one you can't, and one dies out when I turn 85, and the other one don't.
Yeah, so a lot of the time the clients don't know the difference between term and whole life. Even if they give a decent answer like I did here, what my recommendation here would be to say, great, so just to be clear, and then go into the script. Term, for us, it's term terminates. You can outlive it. The whole life lasts your whole life, and then the premium never goes up. It's pretty cool because we don't know when you're going to die, so you need something that doesn't terminate. Does that make sense? So this is the explanation.
Yes, correct. So term is the one that terminates, and whole life is the one for your whole life. So with whole life, the coverage will never cancel, and the monthly payments will never go up.
Right.
Very good. Okay, here. And I'm just getting everything plugged in here for you. The number that.
So you hear that TV? I keep hitting on it. I'm telling you, stuff like this distracting to the people. They're very distracting. Tell them to quit it.
We're speaking on here, Rex. Are you able to receive text messages to your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to go ahead and get you over my business card so you know exactly who you're speaking with. 1 second here.
So what we'll do, Our agents will either send an image of the business card just to show them that they're a real person and they exist. We find that's helpful in developing credibility. Now, some will even get on what's called Crank Wheel. That's what it is. And it's a one-way video app where you can show your video of you to them without them getting on camera and just wave to them and say, hey, it's me. I'm here. I'm a real person. It's my house. I just like sending these so you know I'm not like some, scammer in some third world country, right? So that is also very helpful. Highly recommend if you don't do that already.
So should I be sending it to the phone number ending in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me get that over to you right now. Because you are in good health, and there's really nothing going on with you besides the accident that you told me about.
Correct.
Now, I would recommend to be careful suggesting that the client is in great health. Why? If they're in good health, you should commend them, right? Well, I used to do this, but what I realized is you could argue you're actually eliminating urgency. A lot of our prospects are known as world-class procrastinators. They're the kind that wait to the last minute, right before the lid in the casket shuts, to then buy their life insurance, right? I mean, they would wait that long if they could. And you develop this instinct and understanding the longer you do this business. And so what I'm saying is you have to give special thought and have sensitivity towards any time suggesting that the client may be healthy enough that they don't need this right now. In other words, what I would say is, hey, you've been through a real hard time. Granted, you're in good health today, but you almost died. It sounded like you could have died if you fell the wrong way, right? So it's important to have life insurance. This is good that we're taking care of this today. That's better. It's affirming, but it's also saying, hey, you've been there. Don't delay. I would rather you guys approach selling any kind of life insurance or any insurance really with that mentality that tomorrow isn't promised, and being prepared now is critical if you want to be healthy and survive. And, well, maybe not survive, but die and have money on hand for your beneficiaries.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the top half, it's the bottom half.
Gotcha.
Buddy, that sucks, too.
No, I'm with you.
Well, honey, half of my life is based on and
I got you.
don't get me wrong, I was pretty well endowed without having any chemical base.
Right.
I had at least every other night, 3 times a day.
Right. That's helpful.
Okay? And I had one rule with all my girlfriends.
Uh-huh.
Never tell me no.
Okay.
By the way, I just want to say, congratulations, this agent taking this terrible abuse. I mean, the crap these women sit through, I'm sure, is unparalleled to the crap we men have to listen. These dudes, ladies, I know how it is. I have a wife. I have 3 girls. Thank God they're not that old yet. But they will go put up with it. But this is just just kudos to the agent for having the grace to deal with the insults that sometimes come along with talking to men in this job.
What were your thoughts and concerns that actually started you to get looking into coverage in the first place?
Curiosity. See what the price range would be.
Curiosity.
For the
Gotcha.
coverage. Yeah, for the coverage.
Okay, I'm with you.
See, I won't agree to anything until I read the contract fully.
Gotcha.
And that's for my price range.
Gotcha. Okay.
So don't pay attention to that. If I need to see the policy before I sign off. No, you don't. It's a smoke screen. Don't let this deter you. Don't start saying, well, we can't do that. We have to apply first and stuff. Let's say, yeah, okay, no problem. And then just go to the price. And then deal with it at the close. A lot of things you can just defer the objections and say, no problem, and then continue. The other thing that concerns me is the answer to this question. The answer typically that we want to hear is, well, I don't want to die and then have my loved ones like my brother, sister, ex-lover, ex-lovers have to come out of pocket to pay for this, right? And so the idea behind this is to get that kind of peace of mind, desire for type of response. Curiosity is it's kind of withdrawn. It's not, somebody doesn't sound like they're interested. Curiosity was killed the cat. Curiosity is not a good answer. So what would you do in this circumstance if you're not hearing the kind of answer? I would reply back and say, hey, when you say curiosity, like, what do you mean by that? Can you explain more? What happens if you die? How is this going to be taken care of? Like, who's going to have to pay this bill if you don't have coverage? You really need to lean in and dig into that, because doing so is the way to connect their desire to buy today instead of putting it off tomorrow. Because again, what are these people? World-class procrastinators.
And do you have anybody that you're trying to protect with this policy? Do you have any kids or family?
Very good, very good. Very good, agent. Coming back, getting back to the core of this. Who are we protecting?
No, I'm just doing it for burials, for my cremation and everything.
Gotcha. That's your focus.
Yeah, so the response to this should be, okay, well, what happens if you don't get a policy? Who would pay for this? Who do we care about here? Like, that's the whole purpose behind life insurance. It's an act of love. If you don't love someone, then you don't buy life insurance, right? But if you do, that's the motivation. And we need to know that motivation to drive home the reason why they need to buy today. That's why you have to do this if you want to have any semblance of success selling insurance, especially life insurance.
So I got the prices here for you. So keep in mind, any of these pricing options, it's okay to choose higher or lower. It's totally fine. All we will have to do from here is submit your application to the insurance company to make sure that you can actually get an approval so you can have some money left over, which is your goal. You can choose whichever amount of coverage that you want because, of course, you're the one that's in control. Are you ready for me to tell you the prices?
Yeah.
So perfect. Right through the script. Here's the prices. You're in control. No worries. No pressure. Easy way for people to buy. Make it easy. Don't make it difficult.
Your first pricing option, this one is kind of high. I don't firstly recommend it only because you told me you were trying to stay on a budget, but I do want you to know what your options are and what's available there to you. Now, this first option here is for $8,037 in coverage, and this one is for $65 a month. Did you get that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's option one. Now, option two is much more affordable, and this is a more common option, especially with the price range that you're trying to stay in. Now, this one would be for $4,946 in coverage, and this one will be for $40 a month. So pretty good. Did you get that one?
Okay.
Okay. Now your option number three, this is actually the super budget option. It should still do your family pretty good, or your burial plans, because I know that's what
There it is again, burial plan, cremation plan.
you're aiming to get. Now this one is actually below what you wanted me to stay under. This one is actually for $15 a month, and this will be $1,854 in coverage.
Like nothing around $20. 22 and 25.
Yep. Okay. So I'll tell you. So $20 will get you $2,473 in coverage. If we went to $25, that'll get you $3,091 in coverage.
Now, my recommendation here, this is really important. Let's go back and think about what the client had said earlier. Client said, I just want to be cremated, throw me in the oven, pull out the ashes, and be done with it, put me in an urn. He doesn't really want the fixins, as we say in the South. He just wants a simple cremation. The reality is, I forgot to add, very important, all I need is $6,000 to $8,000. She suggested some number like that. But the truth is, you don't need a policy for that much. And if you don't take time to reconcile what they think they need versus all that they need, then they may not take this price. Again, I might be preemptive here, but I want you to start thinking like, you may have situations where one person wants something, but they can't afford it. And so you want to make it okay for them to buy it, because they may think in their mind, well, let me pay this bill off and then I can afford it. And that tomorrow never comes. So the idea behind this is that what we want to say is, hey, we're going to get you, so that $25 a month, it's 25 or it's 3,000. Let's say it's 3,000 coverage. But here's the thing. I know you said you wanted 8,000 or 6,000, but 3,000 is more than enough, because all you want is a basic cremation. It's not going to cost more than that. Now, if you want to be buried, maybe $6,000 or $8,000 would be good. But I want to stress to you, Mr. Prospect, getting to $3,000 if you really want to stick to the budget is perfectly fine, and it's a smart decision. So I like to preempt it with that just to make sure that we're saying all that we need to say and selling that policy to them, even though it's less than what they said that they wanted earlier.
Set me up on that one.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. So let's go ahead and get you squared away here.
And that's it. That's how it is done. Thank you for watching. Check out davidduford.com if you want to learn more about joining the Dig Agency. Why join us? Because we provide free leads that are actually really high quality, high intent leads to all of our agents that join. You never have to pay anything for leads. Our training is substantial, amazing. Nobody trains you better than we do. If you're a new agent to the business, maybe part-time or full-time you're looking at, we take both. Even if you've never sold anything before, you need to check us out before you look anywhere else. Go to davidduford.com to learn more and see if it's a good fit for you. Thanks for watching.